Gamarjoba, Rogahar. Welcome everybody, it's your pal the Coin Guy. I've got my Pepika on, I've got my Nukla Kavi Dig shirt on, because today I'm talking about Georgian Sasanian coinage. Now this is a special topic for me because it's related to Georgia. Not that one. The country. I have had the opportunity to work in Georgia at the site of Nukla Kavi, which is an amazing archaeological site, which is actually mentioned in Procopius. It's a key part of the wars between Rome and Persia, or Byzantium and Persia, depending on how you want to talk about it. And it's a cool site. My master's thesis, though, was actually about the Georgian Sasanian coinage. And I'm going to take this hat off because it is hot. Whew. These hats are intended for mountain wear, not Ottawa wear, which is like plains and forests and stuff. Anyway, I digress. I keep going on these tangents in these videos. I really got to stop doing that. Or should I keep doing that? That's up to you guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. So Georgian Sasanian coinage. Now, Sasanian coinage, I've showed a couple times on this channel, and I think I have also showed the Georgian Sasanian coins a couple times, but now we're going to get into them in deep detail. So, some background information. In the basically 3rd to 6th/7th century, Rome and Persia fight. They fight basically from the inception of the Sasanian Empire all the way to the bitter end. And this is something that is often centered around the Caucasus region, so what is now Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia. Now, I'm not going to get into modern politics because obviously these areas have shifted and whatnot, and also we'll call them late antique or medieval kingdoms of Georgia. They change and they're not always unified under one banner. So I will just call them Georgia for lack of better terms and to simplify things. So these kingdoms are critical in our understanding of the diplomacy and the warfare of Rome and Persia. So how does this then come out in coinage? Well, if we look at our Sasanian coins, they've always got the Shah on one side with his name, and then on the other side you will get a Zoroastrian fire temple with a date of reign and a mint location. This is standard. Nobody's going to argue that point. But at some point in about the 5th or 6th century, we start to get weird-looking coins. They're Sasanian, they're clearly Sasanian, but they start getting little details change on them. So some of them start to have Georgian letters that appear. So some of them have like a GN, which we suspect is actually for one of the Georgian princes, Guram or Gurgen, depending on how you translate his name. Some have like a J-O, not Jonathan Willett. Don't get that idea. Which we're not exactly sure how that translates to. There's a couple theories, but we're not 100% sure. And then you actually get some eventually with Prince Stephanos I, who actually puts basically his full name in monogram on the coins. You also get crosses start appearing on them, either behind the hairball, so behind where the Shah's hair is kept, or up top over the fire temple, where the altar would be. There's a little cross. And this is strange, because these have been presented in a couple of different ways. Some people see these as a reflection of Georgian independence. This was the Georgians trying to, unshackle from Sasanian yoke. And this is something that I argued in my research is basically Eurocentric hogwash. The Georgians were actually allied with the Sasanians at various points. I believe it was Stephanos was actually executed by the Byzantine emperor. He was flayed alive for his support for the Sasanians. So this idea of the Georgians trying to be independent by making their own coinage while also being allied with the Sasanians is kind of a weird creature. And I don't think that's a fair reflection of what's going on here. So I looked at the timeline. I looked at the fact that GN or Gurgen is actually the spelling that was used for the prince's name in international communication. I looked at the minting itself, so you can see a couple dies that are the same, and you can also see that some of them have a double strike. There's one coin, for example, that clearly has a double strike where it's been struck twice. And this really showed that this might have actually been some sort of a Sasanian experiment with minting coins that were a little bit different than their standard ones. Now, this did not last long. It only maybe lasted under 100 years. We also only have maybe 40 examples of these coins. Some are in Tbilisi. There's a bunch in Germany at the Münzcabinet in Berlin. There's a couple in the Hermitage in St. Petersburg, and Moscow has a couple too. The American Numismatic Society has one. Prague has one. There's a couple allegedly in private hands. I know one went for auction a couple years back, but the rest of them we don't really know where they are. Some we know were found in construction excavations, so somebody was building a pipeline or something, and they found a bunch of these coins, and then they disappeared into people's hands. What I suspect probably is happening is there's someone in Mitkheta or Tbilisi or Senaki or one of these cities probably has a bunch of them in a jar on their mantle or their fireplace and actually doesn't realize what they have. That would be my current suspicion. Or we've just never actually found the lot of them. One day we will, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And that's the whole typological issue there. Now, one thing I did as well, which was actually quite fascinating, and it's never been done. These results are going to be published next year, hopefully. The typology stuff I published earlier this year. I wrote a new evaluation of it. That is in the Journal of the Oriental Numismatic Society. So, check that one out. Or email me and I'm happy to send you a copy. Something I did, which again will be published next year, is I actually did XRF analysis, or X-ray spectrometry analysis. Yeah. Basically what that does is we get, it looks like a gun with a little laser. We shoot it into the coin. We then get a readout of what is in the coin, mostly on the surface, but it can penetrate a little bit. And that gives us a readout of the material. So for example, 96% silver, 2% copper, 3% zinc, 1% lead, blah, blah, blah. You could use it on a variety of... Yeah. You can use it on a variety of different materials, and it allows us to actually understand what is in a material. So in a coin, in ceramics, in glass. You can use it on biological stuff too. So you can use it on, say, wood or paper if you want to get to know what's actually in it. But with mine, the reason why this was important is Sasanian coins have a reputation of being very well made. They're usually in the high 90s, as high as 99% pure silver, which is rare even by modern examples. I mean, if you look at the really nice stuff that like the British Mint or the Canadian Mint or the US Mint publishes, you'll oftentimes see it's like 99.9999% silver. Some of the Sasanian coins are actually comparable to that. And that was 1,500 years ago. So I was curious if these imitations, these quote-unquote Georgian Sasanian imitations, were also of high quality. And guess what? They were. A lot of the coins were coming out in the high 90s. One actually was even 99%. There was two that were in the 80s, but that could have been a fluke. We don't know. So this makes them comparable with these centrally minted coins. Now, we did a comparison with Arab Sasanian coins. So these are Sasanian coins that were minted after the fall of the Sasanian Empire. In the newly conquered lands, they basically took a Sasanian coin, stuck a Bismillah on it, or some variation, and it was good to go. I will do another video later on these coins. These coins, though, were often coming out at 70, 80%, so they were lesser quality. If you also get like Hunnic imitations, they often usually come out at like 60, 70, 80%. They're usually not as high quality. So this actually really gives us an idea that the imitations might have actually been properly minted. Can't be confirmed because we don't have enough evidence. We still need to find like a stamping tool or something to indicate the actual minting practice. We've never found it. It's probably in Mitzcheta or Tbilisi or one of those areas, or maybe in Iran somewhere. We don't know. But yeah, that's kind of some of the evidence that I looked at in my thesis. So that's it for today. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you found that interesting. I know I did when I did my master's. It was really quite fascinating when I got to really get into it. And yeah, thank you for listening to me today. If you've got questions, send me an email, post a comment, make sure to like and subscribe so I can keep bringing you this knowledge. And with that, I think I will get on my way. And one last thing to do, as they do in Georgia, I don't have Georgian wine with me, instead I have a Coke Zero. But with that, I would like to say Gamar Jos, cheers, and see everyone next time. Bye-bye for now.